Alrighty, folks, we've talked a lot about conventional, we've talked a lot about FHA, but what is going on in the DSCR world or non-QM? I think we got to talk about rates, obviously, but there are also some dirty little secrets being whispered in the background about funds going insolvent. It's not a good thing. Jonathan, how you doing, man?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Which topic do you want to tackle first? Insolvency of funds or rates in DSCR? It is your choice.
Let's talk about the good stuff first, and then we'll end the video on a sad note, maybe.
Okay, works for me. I don't mind.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So obviously everyone's seen what's going on with conventional FHA VA rates are dropping, right? In
Yeah,
the non-QM world,
collapsing,
yeah,
collapsing.
yeah. In the non-QM world though, the rates aren't moving as much.
Mm,
And the reason they're not moving as much is because Wall Street hasn't moved, I don't think, their expectation that much down on these non-conventional products. Because conventional, obviously, their backers Fannie Freddie and
yep,
Ginnie Mae.
yep.
So their market is a little more liquid. On the Wall Street side, I think they're still trying to do a little bit of a money grab on the
Mm,
secondary market to grab as much market share as possible on the higher rate so that they can make a higher spread, right?
yeah.
They're going to try to hold it off as long as possible.
Well, you know what? I actually think it's a little. I mean, that could be it. Obviously, you're in the
Yeah.
game. I don't know why I'm giving my opinion when I have no experience, but I'm going to do it anyway because it's my show. I actually think the funds know that their like the last year or so might have some rot in it, and they're trying to paper over the rot with higher spreads, trying to get to the other side. That's what I think might be going on.
Actually, now that you bring that up, another thing that could come into play is I'm seeing a lot more foreclosures and defaults, like you said, come up. Um, and so they might be covering that. Also, they're going to probably try to cover as much spread as possible from all the refis that are about to come as
Yeah.
well before they have to lower it.
Mhm.
But non-QM rates haven't really moved drastically in the same direction as everybody else
Yeah.
in the conventional world. However, one of our funds that we actively use, have a lot of money placed with, that we spoke about, the 6.5 you can get down to pretty reasonably.
Right.
Now, like it was crazy because this morning I just priced out a 20% down fourplex at 7.6% par.
Okay. Yeah.
And then but if you were to do, let's say, 25 down and buy it down maybe 1.5 points, you'd
Mhm.
be 1.5 to 2 points, you'd be at like 6.25
On a
on a
DSCR.
DSCR, 30-year fixed. Like it was 6.5 when we talked like last week,
Yeah,
right?
I
But
remember. Yeah.
yeah, but now you can buy it down to like 6.25. It's actually mind-blowing. Obviously
Oh,
it doesn't apply to everybody, right?
yep. Yep.
It
Yep. Yep.
applies to premium borrowers that have the down payment, that have the right, the cash flow and all that. But
Mhm.
the fact that we can actually get back into the low sixes on DSCR while the rest of the market has not moved actually. So like
Oh, it hasn't.
most
Yeah, it hasn't.
non-QM is maybe they drop to like, okay, now our floor rate is like 7, now our floor rate is 6.75. No one's floor rate is 6.25, which means that actually technically if you wanted to buy it down even further, you probably could go as low as like 6%. I think
Mm,
I haven't tried it yet,
mm.
but I tried 6.25 this morning and it worked.
Wow.
So this
Wow.
is this is we obviously have the one fund that goes fluid to the market, and they are the only ones that are pricing basically 1% to 2% lower than the rest of the market, while everyone else is still at
Mm.
that amount, right?
Wow. First
So
first mover advantage, maybe. Maybe they're looking to
yeah,
gobble up share.
for sure, for sure. And I mean, like we talked about before, like with this particular fund, we were talking about more tracking the 5-year treasury last week,
Yep,
right?
I remember. Yeah.
And the 5-year treasury took a heavy drop. It took I think this morning it was 3.9.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it's lower now. It's like 3.91 or something. It's crazy.
yeah, it's crazy. So we're talking about a fluid movement in the market where it's like a lot of clients now, like we've been talking the whole time, like, hey, if you're buying great properties and great assets, just cost average down. At the end of the
Yep.
day, it's not going to kill you, right?
Yep. Yep.
Especially when you're talking about a loan under 150,000, is a 1% really going to make that much of a difference? No, it's the asset.
No.
But now that you bought that $150,000 property, it's going to be probably worth in a little bit, in a year probably, a little more, and you're going to be able to kind of
Yeah.
capture on that equity. So that now you're in a better position than you were if you didn't buy the property at the higher rate. So
Yeah.
like I'm encouraging a lot of clients, like, cost average down, find great deals. But when you're buying them right now, it's a great time to actually just lock in as low as you can, as much as you can, because once I think the wave comes in of other people that can actually, like, now they can, oh, I can buy with 3.5% down, 5% down. You're going to start competing against those people, and you're going to start you're going to get actually worse deals than you did, a few months
Amen.
ago.
Yeah. I said this yesterday, half in jest, but I believe it with every fiber of my body today. That's how fast this changed. I believe the spring selling season starts now. Because last spring when it started, we went right into bidding wars. I think enough people were sidelined by 8% that remember the last spring, that they are making offers today in December. I've never seen it flip this fast, and I've never seen this kind of activity in late December. We're late December at this point. It's wild.
I mean, yeah, it's crazy. And obviously on that note too, segueing into kind of the more sad part is we're starting to get word on the street, because we're so, connected, that some funds, and these are the funds that back the
Yep.
lenders that people use for non-QM, they're starting to go insolvent. They're not funding loans. They're retrading. They're just shutting doors. It is starting to happen across the board, which is super weird that it's happening at a time when rates are dropping, right? Because
the pain just built so long, and they couldn't hold out. They just couldn't hold out.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, people are going to start seeing it across the board. If
I
you don't
agree.
if you don't work with a broker that has enough liquidity based on, like, who the lenders are selling to, because if you think about it this way, most non-QM lenders sell to the same, like, 3-4
Yeah.
people, right? If you don't have access to the other two that are buying smaller buckets of mortgage-backed securities of non-QM loans, then you're going to be in a little bit of a world of
Your SOL.
pain
Yeah.
going forward, because if this is happening to one fund, I 100% imagine that these other funds that are buying these papers are going to be also in the same situation sooner than
Totally
later.
agree. Totally
Yeah.
agree.
So, you have to, if you're working with a mortgage broker right now, or a lender right now, or a loan officer right now, I would highly recommend that you like, just confirm with them, hey, is the fund that I'm working with, is the lender that we're working with, are they solid on paper? Are they okay on liquidity? Because it doesn't matter how great your loan is, if it goes all the way to the end, even if you sign docs, if they
Yeah.
say we are not
I've
funding
seen
the
that.
loan,
Yeah.
then you are
Yeah.
not funding the loan. This happened actually. I think we were on the channel like 2 years ago, if you remember. There was a
I
whole
do.
retrade craziness. Yeah,
I do.
this is the
It's happening
exact same
again.
thing,
Yep.
where you're gonna start getting turned away at the funding table. Not signing. They're gonna let you sign, but
Funding
funding, they
table.
might be like, hey,
Ouch.
we
Sorry.
can't fund the loan, right? And on purchases, that really, really sucks.
Oh yeah, you
So
lose your EMD, you get all this. Oh,
yeah, so you
not
definitely
good.
want to make sure that any lender or broker you work with is sending the loans to the end buyer, or the fund that actually is going to be able to service your loan, to close it and fund it. That's the most
Yep.
important thing. After they fund it, who cares? But
Right.
if they don't fund
Who
it,
cares who they sell it to? Yeah, exactly.
yeah, you're in for some trouble. So yeah, I've been recommending a lot of clients, even if they don't go with us, like, hey, make sure that you talk to your loan officer,
Yeah.
like, hey, are we solid here?
Yeah.
Because we're seeing it across the board.
Jonathan, if somebody want to reach out, see how you can help them, see what's going on, see what rates are, do a streamline, have a backup plan, how do they do that?
Go to convoyhomeloans.com and let us know you came from more at.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you.